let's do this. We got a bunch of stories, but let's start with yours because you've done a local interview, but is this like the first big discussion you've had about what happened on January 6th?
I did a local interview with Mike Calta, super nice guy. He's been in radio for a long time. He's really nice to me, and he's like, I'd love to have a chat with you. Wasn't speaking negative or anything, so I was like, yeah, I'll come talk with you. And I did another one with a guy who just reviews guns. I'm not going to give him a shout out because I don't know, he's still building, but super nice guy. We just kind of chatted about what happened.
So you're the Podium guy, and this is an egregious, incorrect statement because it was a lectern, and everybody is telling us that in the chat. But so, for those that aren't familiar, there's this famous photo that comes out of the January 6th riots or whatever. It's you, and you're carrying the lectern while smiling and waving to the camera. And how did it all happen? What's the story behind it?
I mean, how far do you want to go back? Like, why did I go? I mean,
let's just start with sure. Tell us your story, man.
So, I wasn't really into politics a few years ago. I'm busy raising kids, changing diapers, and doing Common Core math, And COVID struck, and I started listening because I had more free time, just trying to find a hobby, and followed the elections and everything. Listened to a bunch of stuff, and I had never voted before. I voted in 2019. For the first time, a registered independent forever. Just didn't really have much stake in getting out there and doing something because my life was pretty good, And listened to what was going on, started getting some opinions, some ideas, and I decided I'm going to go to a Trump rally. It's going to be the last one. I'd never been to one before. I always listened to the guy's Twitter was hilarious, So I bought some tickets with a friend of mine, and we just headed up there. And it was the first rally I'd been to, never been to a protest before. It was kind of a new experience for me, so I didn't really know the etiquette of what a protest is.
Did you go to, Trump was speaking at the Ellipse.
Yes.
Did you go there?
Yes, that's where I was, by the monument and the World War II memorial.
How did you go from there to the Capitol building?
Well, we were there for, I think about a couple hours. And at the very end of his speech, he's like, we're going to march down to the Capitol. We're going to march peacefully, let our voices be heard. And we didn't really have any plans that day, after the fact. So I was like, well, I guess it's going there, so I guess we'll follow. So it's, just following cattle.
So you follow people, you make it to the Capitol building.
Mm-hmm.
What happens next?
So when we, on the walk there, there's a lot of people there, man. I've never seen so many people. We heard from the crowd, Pence didn't do it, it's over. And at that point, people are just, the pace picks up. Some people start running, they're funneling through the crowd. And I'm like, what's going to happen? So I follow because I'm curious. I'm there to see what happens. I'm there to witness a little bit of history, and I follow the crowd. When we get to the Capitol, it's already under siege. I compare it to like watching like an anthill being kicked. Just people everywhere.
But elaborate on that. Did you see violence? Did you see people tearing things down?
Oh yeah, there was definitely violence there that day, and I try to be as honest as possible. Like, people were hitting cops.
But as you're walking up, you're seeing all that happen.
Yes. Yep. I'm filming it. I'm watching it go down. I mean, when I first got there, they were kind of just arguing back and forth. Protest rhetoric. You've betrayed us. Defend our country. This and that. And at some point, just things popped off. One side started pushing, the other side pushed back. There was tear gas, mace. There was a flashbang at a point. But people were hitting cops.
So next, what's next?
So I don't want to stick around that because I don't want to be a part of that. I'm just kind of tacitly sitting back there videotaping it because holy cow, what's happening in front of me, So the next thing, I climb up some scaffolding to kind of get a bird's eye view to see what's happening. And you can't tell where the thing started and stopped. I mean, it was just funneling in from almost every street, and I was kind of beholding the whole thing. And, I was kind of like, well, I'm not sure what to do next, As I come down the stairs from the scaffolding, I notice people are going inside the building. And I'm like, well, I guess that's where the protest is going. I guess I'll go inside, So I walk through open doors with a group of people. I get to the rotunda, and when we get there, people kind of disperse because it's such a large room. It's a beautiful room too. So, whatever people were walking in with a chance, it got real quiet real quick. People are looking around at the paintings, the statues, the Oculus. I mean, it's a beautiful room. And then I kind of wander around a little bit, take some pictures, and I noticed there's this lectern sitting kind of like underneath some stairs. It's kind of out in the open. I'm like, man, that would make a great photo, kind of in the middle of the rotunda. I called it, I nailed it. And so I take the lectern out, I set it down, I give a short speech, and then I go wander around a little bit more.
So that was that photo of you carrying the lectern was You took it from under some stairs and then what? You put it down somewhere?
I put it down in the middle of the rotunda.
And then you started talking to people?
Yeah, or I gave a short speech. It was like 3 lines, kind of LARPing politics, and I left it there. I didn't put it back where I find it, so shame on me.